from deep in the forest, high atop the Great Smoky Mountains. This is Smoky Mountain Off Grid. Okay, here we go. We'll do something a little different today. I'll do this little summary here of a little background on this off-grid homestead. And then I'll show you a little clip of what we're dealing with, and do a little voiceover on that. So it won't take too long. We bought that property in 2014 and built the off-grid homestead over a period of several years. Weekend trips and a couple of days a week, that kind of stuff. Because it was a good 2.5, 3 hours away from where we were living. So and then we moved there, and we lived on that property for, I don't know, three or so years, when I contracted rheumatoid arthritis. Now, the cabin up there is 1,000 square feet. The first 400 square feet we built initially, and we moved into that. We lived in that for a year. And then I added a 2-story addition of 600 more square feet. And we lived in that for several years. The total combined space. All solar panels and collecting rainwater and all that kind of stuff. And it worked out pretty good. But in 2019, I contracted this rheumatoid arthritis stuff. And wow, it was terrible. I was stuck in the second story in an easy chair for like 30 days. I couldn't get down. I couldn't come down the stairs. It was really bad. So, and then after I could come down, I couldn't get back up because my office is in the upstairs, and so I couldn't get back up there. So we decided that we better buy a place in town just to have the convenience of medical facilities and shopping and all of that kind of stuff. I mean, the nearest grocery store to us was an hour away. The old age saga continues. And so now we got stuck. So we bought a place in town. I'm sitting in it now. And it's this COVID stuff and all this other kind of crap that's going on and stuff that, it's kind of kept us here. Plus, Barbara has diabetes and there are reoccurring problems with that. And she was bedridden for 45 days, dehydrated, all that kind of stuff. I think it was food poisoning. The medical community didn't help us any on that. They'd rather not talk to us, I guess. I don't know. At any rate, so we went through all of that stuff, and now, she's had cataract surgery recently, and, now she's got the, as part of diabetic retinopathy, the bleeder in the eye. She's blind in her left eye, and now the bleeder in her right eye. And had a canceled surgery because some problem with the EKG, and so we're going through all of that stuff. And all it amounts to, realistically, is the medical community is playing us. I guess they got to make money. I have no clue. But it was such a big emergency that she see a cardiologist when we were in Nashville a couple of weeks ago, or a week ago. It was, such a big emergency. And the cardiologist put us off for 2 months. I mean, saw her on an initial consult several days later. I mean, it wasn't right then and there. Several days later, and then put us off another 2 months. So it couldn't have been such a big emergency, could it? But they sure get paid their $600 per visit, don't they? Anyway, so that's where we are, and right now I'm making day trips, like it's a day job, up to the homestead, and I mentioned that the nearest grocery store is an hour away. Well, that's where we bought this house. It was an hour away, where that grocery store is. There just so happens to be a hospital within 2 miles, too. And a lot of other things. So, it's a fair-sized town. Anyway. And so that's where we stand right now. And what we're doing is we're expanding the homestead. We're going to put a guest house up there because we're going to need it. It's going to be. Hey, look, things are really getting bad, and I can tell you lots of stories, but I'll continue this on. But let me. I'll do the voiceover on the video. I'll show you what I'm up against. And it ought to be a pretty good comic relief to watch an old guy with rheumatoid arthritis in the woods cutting down trees and clean brush. It ought to be pretty funny to watch. It takes me at least 4 times longer, if not 10 times longer, to do stuff. But we'll get it done. And this is going to be the new fad. People are going to move from the city and they're going to move out into either farther into the suburbs or out into rural areas. And I'll continue on with that in a minute. Okay. Now we got it. This is just a walk around. We have done some stuff up here. So, and you'll be able to see now what this is all about. This is just the front of the property. So it's only 200 or 300 feet, in from the road. But this is where we park our vehicles. So, so this is how we get into the property. It's a blind driveway. All right. Let me continue on with this. People moving to the suburbs and stuff and out to rural areas. There's a guy in Canada, and the name of his YouTube channel is My Self-Reliance. And his name is Sean James. And he lives as close to nature as anybody I've ever seen. And he's a skilled, woodsman and all that kind of stuff. And he's moving. He lives in a very remote area, and it's getting too congested for him. And so he's moving. He's moving to a more remote area because people from the city are moving out to his rural area, and they're crowding him in. And he's sitting on 100 acres, and he's feeling crowded in. You ought to watch that channel. He's an interesting guy. At any rate, so that's going to be what happens. So that's why we are. There's been wind damage out here. Either a wind shear or something, but for some reason or another, it only happened on our property. So I can't figure that out to save my life. But they selected us. Mother Nature selected us. I guess she's mad at us or something. And it was only pine trees, southern yellow pine, with the shallowest root systems, and it just uprooted stuff. There's only a couple of trees that have broke off, But boy, there's just an awful lot of this stuff down. Now you can see in here that we have done some stuff, but not much. So today I was able to get the truck in there, and that's what I wanted for today. So we'll continue on, and we'll post from time to time. So until next time, toodaloo.